Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another Omega Insight. Tonight, I'm wrapping up this series of tools for your toolbox. I've been going through taking poems that have been passed on to me to study and implement in my life and sharing them with you. So first we discussed the poem If, then we talked about A Splendid Torch, Invictus was in there, and then of course tonight I want to talk about integrity. Integrity, this is a little piece. Now, people have written about integrity for centuries, but I wanted to go to the one that was passed on to me. It was written by Heraclitus, who was a Greek philosopher that predated Socrates. He focused on the importance of conflict, the constant nature of change, unity in the opposition. Many of you might know the Hermetic philosophy, opposites attract, and then how these applied to the stars. Like he was very big into cosmology, so how that all applied to the stars. To Heraclitus, the nature of reality was a constant change, a war, constant war of change. So the nature of reality was constantly changing, and then it was all about like a conflict war. And he suggests that integrity is of utmost importance. It's the one key factor is to have is a sense of integrity. And those of you who have been through Omega and you understand our philosophy, we are it's one of the common denominators in every single one of our programs is about integrity. It's the source, it's the flow that runs through each of our programs. We discuss integrity, the meaning of it, the implication of it, the application of it in our lives. Now, here's the piece by Heraclitus. He says, "The soul is dyed the color of our thoughts." Naturally, that's easy to understand. The only thing, therefore, so the soul is dyed the color of our thoughts. Think only on those things that are in line with your principles and can bear the full light of day. So here he is, back when he wrote this, the idea of thoughts become things, naturally. This stems from that. So here it is. The soul is dyed the color of our thoughts. So what I think, my soul is affected by it. Therefore, think only those things that are my principles and that can bear the light of day. In other words, if I were exposed, would I be happy or proud of my thinking? I remember one time we talked about it. Wouldn't it be funny or different if people could see our thinking? If people could actually see our thoughts, like a bubble, like a text would pop up and they'd see our thinking, we'd be far more careful about the things we say or think inside of our head. I often joke around saying there's an outside voice and an inside voice. And the idea is to make the outside voice and the inside voice be congruent, integral, be the same. Most of us don't have that. Sometimes our outside voice is more calm and mild, but inside we're raging, and then sometimes the opposite is true. We're outside raging, and inside we want to be more calm. However, the concept is that my soul is colored by my thoughts. Thoughts become things. Therefore, it'd be essential that I choose my thinking. Choose my thinking. Choose my thoughts. The content of character is your choice. In other words, my character is derived by my thoughts. So it's my choice on the type of character I wish to be. Day by day, what you choose, what you think, what you do is who you become. I'll say that again. Day by day, what you choose, what you think, and what you do is who you become. Again, I'll connect this back to the philosophy. Most of us know this. Thoughts become things. So who I am is based upon what I think and what I do. And that's who I'm going to become. Therefore, it's important for me to decide, discover, and choose my thoughts. His last line is, your integrity is your destiny. It is the light that guides your way. So to be integral, the idea is to be integral with my principles. Again, I really want to put that picture out there. If we could see our thoughts, we would be very mindful of the thinking that we have. We would choose our thoughts. Very, very mindful of it. And in the idea of integrity here is I want to align myself with the principles. So being conscious and aware of my thinking. Now, this is something that we talk about a lot in the classroom, is to be aware of your thinking, choose your thinking. And it's hard because we have reactions. We have that emotional reaction that pops up, and all of a sudden I'm not thinking anymore, I'm reacting. So this alludes to the idea of rising above our emotions. Now, as we discuss in the classroom, we talk about how we're a multi-level creature. There's physical, there's emotional, and there's mental. Mental is above the emotions, but the spirit is above the mental. So what we have to do is transcend our physical and our emotional reactions and get to a place where our thinking is in charge, where thinking and in control of our thoughts. And once we surpass our thinking, that's when we step into the level or the land of intuition. That begins to flow through. So back to this piece by Heraclitus, the soul is dyed the color of our thoughts. This all comes back to our thinking. Think about the type of person you wish to be. I am a true advocate of this. I love the idea of writing down a list. Many of you have heard me tell this story before. Before I met my husband, I wrote down a list of the perfect partner. What would be the perfect partner for me? The height, the color of his eyes, color of his hair, what his demeanor would be, peaceful, non-violent, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I really did write a list of things, and then I put it away. And every once in a while, I'd pull it out and visualize. This was back in the 90s when affirmations were a big thing. So I would visualize and think about, this is the perfect partner, this is my perfect partner, and then I put it away. And when I got married and I was moving into Mark's house, I found that list, and I just cracked up laughing. Almost every single one was there. Every single of the points that I had asked for was there. Now, is that going to magically happen to everything that I apply my mind to? No, if that was true, I would have won the lottery already. So it really does come down to what I put my thinking to, and, put my it's in alignment with me and my purpose and my principles. Now, I say that jokingly about winning the Powerball, but those of you who know me, money is not really a focus for me, so that's why it actually wasn't even on my list. I actually said to Mark when I met him and I found that list, I'm like, darn, I should have put a millionaire on it, just as a joke. But that, to me, is proof that our thoughts become things, that when we instill our life with our thinking, we become them. So therefore, if that is true, then I want to choose the thoughts that are in alignment with the type of person I want to be. You've heard us discuss in the classroom before about being compassionate, kindness, love, acceptance, not being judgmental, to practice understanding. All of those require effort and requires thinking. It requires me to stop before I speak. This is why I love the word reticence, not to speak just to be heard, to stop. And I like to add the idea, choose when to speak and when not to speak, and what to say and what not to say. Those are equally important. There are times when I know what to say, but I know it's not the right time to say it. And there are times when I don't know what to say, so I don't say anything. It's important to make those choices. That's what we're really alluding to here. And that is congruent with our integrity. Think about integrity. We like to say that integrity is the word and the bond that cannot be seen, but it is felt. You used to shake your hand and you'd have a sense of integrity. And integrity essentially means I'm one who will follow through. I am integral. I have character. We can connect that as well. The idea of having an integral character is someone you can depend upon. They're reliable. They're trustworthy. They speak truthfully. All of those are characteristics of an integral human being. So thank you for allowing me to go through this list of inspirational poems and excerpts that I have been studying throughout the years. I'm grateful I was able to share them with you, and hopefully I've inspired you to do the same thing. Again, I want to just remind us that I put together this book that carries all of my little inspirations and poems that I like to review and think of. Call it my day book. Whenever I sit down and I have a moment, sometimes in the morning is the first thing I pick up and I'll read through, or before I go to sleep at night, I will read through that as well. Even if I've read them before, it's nice to remind myself of things. And as I started with the beginning of this Toolbox series, these are things that George Adair, the founder of Omega, passed on to us, and to instill in us to either use these words in the classroom or to apply these to our behavior so that we are exemplifying these attributes while we are delivering the work. It's been a pleasure to go through this series with you. I've enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in February, on February 7th, for our next set of Omega Insights. Until then, thank you again for keeping the spirit of Omega alive. Bye now.